Okay, so I've had a few requests for a video that will help you set up an APA template so you can write your papers. So I'm going to be working in Microsoft Word, and you can see it's just a blank document. I haven't even saved it yet. So the first thing I really want to do is go ahead and click on File, Save As, and I want to go ahead and put this to my desktop just so I can always find it. And we're going to call this APA template. Save. All right, so one of the first things we want to do, because this is APA, APA requires a running head. Now, the first page or the cover page of the running head is going to be a little bit different than any subsequent pages. I'm going to show you how to set that up. So the first thing you want to do, if you don't already have your ruler, make sure you have your ruler here. If you don't have it, click on View, and then just check the box for ruler, and make sure you're on the print layout. Okay, so from here, we're going to make sure you're on Home. We're going to go ahead and double click on here. And we want to check where it says Different First Page. And then we want to do Insert Page Number, Top of Page, Plain number 3. Now we're going to type in Running Head, colon, and then whatever the name of your paper is. I'm going to put in just name of paper. Just make sure that it is all caps, just like that. Now from here, you're just going to go ahead and click on Tab. Now another requirement is from APA is that we use Times New Roman. Now APA does allow for some other typefaces, but most instructors require the Times New Roman. So for that, we're just going to go ahead and change this. Click on Home, and we're going to click on it down and type in Times. As soon as you do that, it should fill in, and we're going to change this to 12. So now we have our running head on our cover. And we're going to go ahead and double click out of it. And you can click it, you can double click anywhere down here, and it'll close out of your header and footer. Okay. Now I'm going to add just a few spaces here. It doesn't really matter how many. Go back to my top line. Now from here, I want you to go ahead and do Control A. Now what Control A does, it's going to select everything on your document so far. So we're going to go ahead and change the font to Times New Roman and 12. And again, you can see it's still selected. Now I want to go into my paragraph. Now there's two ways to do this. I can either right click anywhere here, or I can go into my paragraph group and click on my little arrow here. And it's going to open up my paragraph dialog box. And we're going to change this 8 point to 0 point, change my line spacing to double, and then click on OK. Okay, now let's go ahead and just click on our arrow down button. So we have all this set up, and it's Times New Roman and double space. So far, so good. All right, so from the top line, so if you're clicking on your up arrow, you can't go up any further. We're going to go down. You're going to arrow down 1, 2, 3. Now enter 4. Right about there is where you're going to start. Yeah, 4. You're going to start your title. And we're going to go ahead and come up here into our paragraph group and select our center alignment. And the first thing you want to do is you want to put in your name. No. I'm sorry, the name of the paper. And then enter. And then your name. And then enter. And then the name of the course. So let's say if it's English Composition 1, enter, and then the name of the school, enter name of the instructor, and then today's date. Okay, so a couple of things. The cover page, according to APA, has a lot of leeway based off what the instructor wants. So your instructor may only want you to put in the name of your paper, your name, the name of the course, and the date. Each instructor is uniquely different. Something else that I've seen, if you come down here, some instructors actually require you to put in a integrity phrase here, basically verifying that this is your work. Again, that is up to the individual instructor. All right, so from the date, we're going to go ahead and do Control Enter. And then the first thing we want to have on the next page is the name of the paper again, and then Enter. And then we're going to go ahead and do Control Enter again, and this is where we're going to put in our references, and then Enter. Now we're going to go back up to our second page. And I know this is my second page because it shows down here, page 2 of 3. So just above where it says name of paper, again, I'm going to go into my running head area. So I'm just going to put my mouse right here above it and double click, and it's going to open up my header section. Now here I'm going to type in name of, page number, top of page here. Okay. Then we're going to do name of paper, tab, tab. And again, we have to change this to Times New Roman. Home, Times New Roman, 12. And then we can double click anywhere out of it, and we now have our document. I'm going to zoom out just for a second so you can see the entire document. Okay, so we have our references, our first content page, and then our cover. Okay, one of the most other common questions that I get is, how do I start my paper? Well, as an undergrad, I spent hours looking at a blank screen. I call this blank screen terror, because your brain just does not want to work if you're looking at a blank screen. So there's a way around that, and you're going to start off by creating an outlined paper. So we're just going to do something very, very simple. Introduction, topic 1, topic 2, topic 3, conclusion. And I'm just going to put a space in between each there. Okay, now topic 1. First of all, in APA, you're not going to have a header showing introduction. So you're going to delete that once you have your introduction written. Some instructors require the use of headers. Okay, not all instructors. If you're not sure if your instructor requires it or not, ask. If your instructor does require headers, then you have to use the APA style for headings. So topic 1 is going to use heading 1. Now, rule of thumb, if you have 1, you have to have at least 2. Oops. And I'm going to show you what I mean in just a second. All right, Control C, Control V, Control V. All right, now APA style for heading 1. We're going to select that, and we're just going to select bold. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here, right-click, update heading to match selection. I'm going to do the same thing with this. Heading 1. Heading 1. Now, if your instructor does not require headings, then you're going to have to do transition sentences from paragraph to paragraph. But the main focus of this particular video is to help people, 1, create an APA template for themselves, and 2, start any academic paper. Now, let's say you have more than one subheading. So we need something to show heading 2. So an example of where you might have subheadings. So let's say my topic is, I'm going to go very, very simple, cars. Well, I want to break up that section into Ford, Chevy, or Chevrolet, and then other. Or I can do, yeah, let's do Ford and Chevy. Now these are both going to be what we call heading 2, because they're going to fall under heading 1. So I want to break down that particular section of the paper into smaller pieces. Now heading 2, we're going to center and bold. And then we just go up here, right click, update heading 2 to match selection. And then here. Again, you don't necessarily have to have heading 2s. It just depends on the type of paper you're doing and how long it's supposed to be. Most undergraduate papers, associates and bachelors, will only have heading 1. I have seen some senior papers, people in their last year of university, need to utilize heading 2, but more common is just the use of heading 1s. You can also use, the next level is going to be heading 3. Again, if you're going to have one heading 3, you're going to have at least 2. Otherwise, you don't need to do it. So to do a heading 3, so let's say under Ford, we're talking about the engine and the chassis. Now, to do, for some reason, it's going back to calibrate, I don't know why. Let's do Control A, Times New Roman. Okay, so all I did here is I just went into Control A, right-clicked, font, made sure I was set as Times New Roman and 12, and then OK. And I went back into my paragraph, make sure I had my 0, 0, and double, and then OK. And I just want to double check to make sure that these are correct. Heading 1, right-click, update. Update. Okay. Now, heading 3. Heading 3, we're going to indent like you were writing a paragraph. Okay, so we're going to do here, and then a period, and then bold. This is going to be heading 3. Okay, and then we're going to apply that to this. Put a period. And then this would be, let's say we want to show the definition of it. So the engine, da 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 da. Okay. The chassis is assembled, da 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 da. Okay. So those would be considered level 3. And then we have here is also a heading 3. Okay. So now that's basically all you need to get started. If you want more information about APA style, the website to go to is, this is actually the flash, apastyle.org. So there's the website. These are the originators of this style. What I have to preface that with is that ultimately it is up to your instructor. So if your instructor says you need to format your paper to include this and this, then you go by what your instructor says. But if you have another question about APA, then you're going to go back to here. Okay? So I hope that answers any question that you might have. What I'll probably do is a future video on how to write the APA paper from just a topic and breaking that topic into subtopics and creating those topic sentences. So hopefully everybody gets to learn a little bit something from this video. And if you like it, push the thumbs up, like, and subscribe.